Right, now this is something that's new this year in this part of the module. So if you've been looking at last year's stuff, this is different. We're doing this as a precursor to regression so that you understand how to fit a line, and then later on you'll learn about the inference that goes with it. So to start off with, we've got some data. And so some bivariate data. And what bivariate means is that you have two measurements on each observation. Okay, so it's no good if you just get a list of heights from one class and weights from another class, because that's not bivariate data. Bivariate data means that you have a list of people from a class, or numbers of people, and for each person you have their height and weight. So you've got to have these two things connected up. So we've got two measures of variables, and one we're talking about is going to be hours of television watched and the debt that they have, consumer debt. So we've got here, this is taken from a textbook. A sociology theorised that people who watch television frequently are exposed to many commercials, which in turn leads them to buy, resulting in increasing debt. To test this, a sample of 430 families was drawn. For each, the total debt and the number of hours the television is turned on per week were recorded. So I've got this in a spreadsheet here called debt data, and you can see here there's lots of it, 430 observations. So I didn't print them out on the thing because that would be silly. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to fit a line to this data. So what we do is we highlight all of the data to there. Then we click on Chart Wizard, and again we want an XY scatter plot. At this point in the course, that's all I ever want is an XY scatter plot. Okay, this time we don't want to have it joined up, we just want the dots. And let's have a look what that looks like. Yep, big splodge of dots. And we'll go next, and that's all right, go next, and next. And this time we want it as a new sheet. So here, as new sheet, finish. So what it does is it makes it there. You don't have to make it as a new sheet to fit a line. This is just another thing I'm teaching you so that you know how to make it inside a spreadsheet or to make it separately. So this is how you make one separately. Now, we can see from there that there does seem to be an upward relationship, that as the number of hours per week of television increases, the amount of debt increases. I've still got a negative number there. Look at that. That's nice. Somebody actually has money. Not only one person out of the whole 430. So that shows a positive relationship. This is a positive slope. But we don't know exactly what the best line to fit through that data is. And we use the criterion of the least squares, which it looks for the line. The computer will look for the line that minimises the squared deviations of each plot from that line. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, to start off with, we right-click on... Have I done what I asked it to? Yeah. We right-click on the data, and it says Add Trend Line. Now, I'd like to take exception to this, because it isn't a trend line. A trend exists over time. A lot of people talk about there's an upward trend. Unless you're talking about time, it's not an upward trend. So you need to sort of be aware that this is not really a trend line, it is simply a line. Now we have the choice here of a linear, logarithmic, polynomial, or some others, but we're just going to take linear, and then in our options, we're going to ask it to display the equation on the chart. So, okay, so it was the two things we had to do there. Say it was linear and display it on their chart. Later on you'll be looking at the R-squared values as well. Some of you will have done this in high school as part of NCA Level 3 fitting a line. I taught at Riccarton a couple of years ago in my spare time and covered this topic with Year 13 students there. And the problem was they knew how to fit a line, but they knew nothing about inference. So this stuff is sort of vaguely familiar to you if you've done that standard, but you don't actually know anything about inference, which is what we do in Module 6. Okay, so now I press Enter and the line appears, and if you look carefully you can see the equation is there, but that's sort of annoying to have it there. So we move that up, probably under here would be a good thing. And we go up to here. If you'll notice there's now a thing that says chart up here, and we go to chart options. And we go through, we start with titles, and we'll give it a decent title. So we'll call it, if I could read it, Television Watching and Consumer Debt. I'll just call it debt because I'm not sure if it is consumer debt. Value on the x-axis is hours of TV per week. And y-axis is debt. And we're going to make that in thousands. Because you can see these numbers here are a little bit ugly. So we go, okay. Now when we've done this, we now need to make this into thousands. So we go to the format the axis, and we go to our scale, and no, we go to number. I can't remember how to do this. It's sad, isn't it? I did it a minute ago. Well, some way you do this. Let's have a look. Format axis. Here we are. Display units. Phew, thousands. See, look, you got this display units. Thousands, what a relief. Okay, and we also want it to say dollars too. So we need to go back to number and tell it that we want it as currency with no decimal places. So that's in thousands of dollars now. Again, we want to get rid of our shading, so chart options, axes, grid lines, legend. Oh, we don't want a legend, so no legend. Yeah, that's it. No, somebody knew what I was doing. There we go. So that's getting close to what we need. Now, the last thing we want you to do in the assignment is to add a text box. Now, in this particular version of Excel, you can't see where to put a text box, so you need to go View Toolbars, and you go down to the Drawing toolbar, and you find this one here that looks like a little newspaper, and you click on that, and that's a text box. And then you open it like that, and that's where you type in your answers, saying, this is a graph of blah, 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 and so on. And then at the moment, it's not opaque, so you want to change that. So you need to format your text box so that you've got a fill of white, and then you'll be able to carry on. So then when you write in it, it's not going to end up with the stuff showing through.